Welcome guys to session 4 of Niche 360. I've had the gifted and honor to introduce a very great man I just got to learn about recently, Pak Madé, who runs one of the most, I believe, successful holistic restaurants in Bali. And luckily for me, I've been dining there for the last couple of years, heard great stories of him, and then finally had a chance to connect with him through a mutual friend, Ibu Sari. Who I think I'll get on the show soon, but she just says, you guys have to connect. He's really involved in community and making impact. So I was like, hey, I really got to catch up with him. And, they did talk about the Moksa brand, but I didn't connect, because I eat the food there and I like the permaculture stuff going on there. But I was like, oh, Moksa, where's that? Is that the cafe somewhere? And yeah, in Ubud, I didn't think about it. Then when I arrived to meet you, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the man behind this vision. I was super double excited, almost honored and feeling starstruck to meet the founder. So just wanted to say thank you for your time, and very excited to have you on the show. And just wanted maybe you to give a little insight to the audience on, who you are and how you founded Moksa and why you named it Moksa. You shared it with me a little bit, but would you mind sharing again here how the whole story started for you?
Okay, well, I would start with my name. I was born here in Bali, and my full name is Madé Janur Yasa. So a lot of people ask, there's like a million Madés in Bali. Yes, it is, So basically, if you break down my name as I, which is the E, that's a male. And then Madé is the second born. And then Janur Yasa is my name. So we don't have a family name in Bali, which is kind of special in a way. So my name is Madé Janur Yasa. I was born in a really small village about 1 hour from Ubud. And through my journey and faith bring me back to Bali, and I end up in Ubud. So to answer your question, I met so many incredible people in my journey, and one of them is my business partner right now, Chef Madé is also Balinese.
Okay.
So when we start this, the restaurant, so I never run a restaurant myself. I never really work for hospitality business, so to speak. But when Chef Madé approached me, or when we talk about it, and the first thing that I was saying to him, let's just sit down, because anything that you do in your life to make money as a business, doesn't matter what you do, coaching, transportation, healing, massage, yoga, at the end of the day, it's business, meaning that you need to bring money more than what you put out. So that's called profit. Just that's simple.
Yeah.
Really, I sit down with Chef Madé. What do you want to do in your life? What makes you smile? What is the purpose of all of this? So we really write down all of these big words without really thinking about how we're going to do this. Like a community, sharing, fun, permaculture, garden, plant-based, farmers market, dojo, yoga. Put all of this big word out there, or actually we write it down on a paper. Because at the end of the day, what we do at the restaurant or what you do in your business, it's become mundane unless you have something what drives you to go to that place.
True.
So, and then after that, all of this process, and we go back, well, we know we're going to do restaurant. That's what we're going to do. That's what's the business that we're going to do. How do we incorporate all of this, the thing that make me smile, and then the thing that make him smile, So, and then we kind of create a quick proposal. It's going to be plant-based. It's going to be farm to tables. organic as much as we could. So we start with that. Actually, we start with the garden. And the other thing that I want to share also with the audience here, and I have a mentor that I've been really following, and one of the things that really stuck with me is he said, when you do something, in your life, if you could incorporate these four things: learning, earning, sharing, and fun. So yeah, with this restaurant, like I said earlier, that I have no idea what is restaurant, how to run a restaurant. But for me, okay, I need to learn this. I was up until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, just to Google, what is restaurant? What is the in and out? I have no idea. But likely I have a really good business partner, Chef Madé. So he's handled all the kitchen because that's another department in itself. And then we have a good restaurant manager that understand, what the service is, ladies first, left to right. I mean, all of these things that I have no idea that what exists, behind the scene. And I'm so happy to learn that I would not know if I didn't have this restaurant. So that's the learning. And then the learning is, for me, is also two ways. Everything that I say here in this fourth thing, it's all two ways, meaning I learned from them, they learned from me. This is like now that we did this interview, I learned from you, and I share this to the audience. So the second one is the earning. We need to earn money because we have things to pay, all the operational. But other than that, it's not just money to earn, the happiness, the satisfaction, the end of the day, you can say to yourself, wow, that was a great day. Wow, that was suck, I'm going to do better tomorrow, So whatever it is at the end of the day, it's the feeling that we have about what we're doing, It doesn't have to be all this rosy and everything is good, life, because that things happen. So the learning, earning, and then the sharing, sharing is again, share the food, share the presentation, the service and all of that. That's about sharing, sharing the space. As you come to my restaurant, we sharing, I share myself, the chef share himself through the food, and then, all the workers and all of that also sharing through their work and their energy, so to speak. And then fun, really, how could we do this? At least most of the time is fun, we cannot do fun all the time, but if the percentage is bigger, then on the other side is better. And then also fun is do your job kind of thing. Because fun will happen when everybody do their job. Say like the server clean the tables, everything is look good, and then that's make it fun. Before you go home at the end of the day, clean everything, and then when you come back the next day, it's bring a different energy, and then you cannot help yourself to being enjoyed in a space. So that's how I view the way that I built this restaurant.
Wow.
And then why is Moksa,
and
Moksa actually Moksa is actually the fifth tenet in Hinduism in Bali. So there's five of them. The first one is Brahman, which is we believe in God. And then Atman, which is every living thing has a soul. And then the third one is reincarnation, that we believe that we born again in this world because there is work or dharma that we need to still to do. And then the fourth one is karma pala, which is the cause and effect. And then the last one is Moksa, which is the highest achievement. Or this is what in Hinduism in Bali that we striving toward, go toward Moksa. So where the Atman and the Brahman is become one. So therefore not reborn again in this world. So we are in nirvana, so to speak.
Wow. Wow.
And then at Moksa itself in a restaurant is really do your job. What is your responsibility? If you are cook, do your job with your heart, with your full intention and all of that. And at the end of the day, you can say to yourself, "Wow, that was a great day. That was Moksa."
I really like that. So I'll come back to the Moksa and the Brahma and getting to Nirvana in a second. But you mentioned earlier that you've been on a journey, and this journey led you to the place of deciding to come home. So could you maybe share a little bit about what that journey was? And I know a little bit about this, but maybe you can expand on the type of different roles and skills perhaps you may, or lessons you might have learned in the past that maybe you feel are good contributors to your success at Moksa. And before you answer that question, go.
So, in my journey, I've been doing a lot of things, and I always said this to people that I meet, or especially for the younger generation. Learn everything. I was. I didn't have a computer when I grew up. So when I saw a computer, I was just like, okay, what is this thing? I want to know how to use it. I learn. I read it. It was before Excel. It was called Lotus.
Yeah.
Before there's even mouse, there was like a floppy disk. And then all of this. I see all this progression. What I'm saying here is learn what you can learn. When I first time moved to United States, I was a janitor. I clean toilet.
Wow. So did I. I'd love to hear that story. We'll get to that. That's great.
Yeah.
Go on.
So all of this thing that I always look back, wow, I'm glad that I learned that. And then you never know when you're going to use it. I do plumbing, I do electricity,
Wow.
So now with all of this operational in Moksa, it's not big, but the electric is off, and I can understand. Instead of calling somebody, I can just done it and then fix it right there at the moment, or the plumbing or whatever it is. The other thing that's in my journey also, I love learning. I become a good skier. I'm from Bali, never see snow in my life, and I become like a good skier. I think the point here is if you learn, if you put yourself in that curious kind of mode, you can do a lot of things that you never think that you can done or do in your life. And then also I fortunate to meet people in my life, either my long life partner, my wife, that's really, she is, her name is Robin. She is really the one that also guide me through this life. And you need to meet this person, you need to talk to this person. And then through that journey, I met one of my teacher. His name is Richard Strozzi Heckler, that live in Petaluma. And what he teach me is about somatic. Somatic is this body in its living wholeness. Meaning inside of our body there is a mood, emotion, sensation, feeling, and really how we are show up in the world. That's what he really teach me about. To be present, to be live in your purpose if you can. And how you do that. So yeah.
So how do you do that? Just before we move from there, because that's a really, you said something so profound that I don't want the audience to miss. So how do you, from your experience with this mentor, live in your somatic body and be present? Just a little intro on that, and I'm sure I have to interview you on that whole chapter, because I know it's connected to something we spoke about. So go ahead.
Um, so in really short description, somatic is come from a Greek word which is soma, which is body, and this is what we live in. We not live outside of our body; we live in our body. And then how do we live in this body in their full potential? And there is a lot of exercise, or not exercise, a lot of practices that you can do that to be able to be in your body. One of them can be physically, like you just walk, feeling the ground, and then also if we look at in our body, there is three physical dimension in our body. So just real quick here, this is what we call it dignity line. This is the vertical, which is, we are the connection between the earth and then the nothingness. If you want to dignify yourself, sit straight, walk straight, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
this one, yeah, is what we call it social domain, which is connection to your community, to your friends, to your co-workers, to your wife. This is because our heart is over here. If we want to connect, we need to open this dimension over here physically. Yeah, I'm talking here physically first. Because that will translate to mood, emotion, and sensation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one is the front and the back. The front is where the future, and the back is where our history. We all have this. Yeah, we all have history, and we all have a future.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I've actually never heard that before.
Yeah.
Huh.
How do we sit? How do we walk? Some people like I still remember this. Going to United States, I went to Boston, and really, literally, people walk leaning forward. Like boom, 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 boom. And somatically, their head is like they're leading with their head. And then left their body behind. It's almost the body catching up.
Wow.
So how could we walk with our head, with our heart, with our body together, not slowing down? We can walk fast with this alignment. And how do you do that? Through practice. There's no shortcut here. It's practice day in, day out. Just like how is martial art,
Yes.
or yoga, or bike.
Yeah.
You get on a bike, you fall. You get
Yeah.
on a bike, you fall, and you're getting good at it, and then you can take your hands off the handlebar, and then you're still up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Now that's really powerful. And I remember we talked about the body posture before when we had our meeting at Moksa. But just since you mentioned about the practice and staying present in these three alignments, if I understood, would you mind sharing with us, what would you say an average daily, do you have like morning rituals or routines, like you said, that are now becoming automatic? So could you maybe take us through what an average day could look like with you that includes these moments of practice of being present, that you feel very useful to your alignment with your body, that you've practiced over the years?
Yeah. So if we look at in a pyramid of body on the bottom as our foundation, and then there is a mood, and then there is belief system at the top of this. So like my daily routine would, like, I woke up in the morning, I do stretching, and then I do my coffee thing. if I got really motivated, I usually like do bike. Biking is one of my way to do exercise here, and also just form of meditation for me.
Okay.
Once I got on that bike, once I go for 10 minutes, I just zone out, so to speak, and just start flowing. And then I go to Moksa, and really, when I go to Moksa, I am there to really see people. I love people, and people that come to Moksa almost in a way that's already in the same kind of vibration, I in 5 years that I have Moksa, 99.9% I love the people that I meet over there. I love making the conversation, learning about them, learning about their country, their habit, their so like the learning part, the curiosity in me, like always, like hey,
Yeah.
And then lunch at Moksa, and again, at the end of the day, I swam. I have a swimming pool here, and also I trying to squeeze bike, at least once every other day, or if I really motivated, I could do biking every day. I have a road bike, and I used to do like 20K, 30K, so just like 1 hour, to 2 hours kind of ride. Just keep me honest in some
Wow.
ways.
Wow, no, that's really good. So you mentioned that you've met some people that have really impacted you. You started with your wife, and then your mentor who taught you the alignments before. And thanks for sharing about the rituals, because I find for me, and this is my curiosity with you, and why I'm doing the Niche 360 is I feel like when we can showcase a 360 story of a successful person such as yourself, there'll be some strategies or things to learn of how we can live a better life. So what would you say is maybe one of the most, what are you most proud of that you've accomplished? And maybe, as you mentioned, a bit of martial arts, we'll get into that later, that you maybe also mastered, or you feel like you've got to a level of mastery where you feel like you're getting the maximum or at least great benefit from for life. So what have you most accomplished that you're proud of?
What do I accomplish? That's a really, I think one that come up in my mind is friendship.
What do you mean?
Meaning like I love connect with people. With this accomplishment, I think, I can do a lot of things because I can't do anything by myself. You might also heard about, I share a little bit with you this plastic initiative that
we'll
I,
definitely get on that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Because of the friendship that I developed through this project, through the village leader, through the like yourself, or like other people that I talk to, and now this has become a bigger movement than what I think that it's going to be. So I think that establishing relationship with others, I think that's the biggest accomplishment that I can attribute to myself, that I love being in collaboration.
So how do you actually go about establishing the friendship, that in terms of, how do you know, like, yes, I have established this, or maybe this needs a bit of work, or maybe perhaps, and I'm sure I'm just sensing you a little bit here, maybe there are some opportunities where you're trying to establish a friendship and it doesn't quite work out. So how do you actually know when those elements are happening?
The other thing is like this too, I mean, the older you get,
or the younger you get for you with your good food. You look younger than last time I saw a video of you. Yeah.
People said when you're young, you have all the questions. When you get old, you get all, when you're young, you have all the answer. When you get old, you get all the questions.
That is good. I like
really
that.
just, You know, if the relationship doesn't work, you try. I mean, you give a try, you know, and then if it doesn't work, why bother? You know, not that I'm giving up. You know, I think there is 2 billion people in the world. You know, if I cannot connect with this one person, you know, let's put my energy to the next person. You know, because probably, you know, if we go back to the faith, or if we go back to this karma, what we speak about, probably there is nothing that we need to get done in this world together.
Wow,
You
that's so
know,
profound.
so like I, I believe that I met you now because we met before. You
Yes.
know, in our past life, that we promise, you know, we'll meet you at Sari, you know. Yeah, okay, let's meet there. You know, that's what the first time we met, and then there is some kind of wow, this is relationships have a potential here, you know, and then we got the second meeting, and then now here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, I don't know where is this friendship gonna go to. You know, not that I'm saying that I do know, like, oh, whatever, you know, no, but I'm you know,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
curious when it's gonna bring us to
Yeah.
in in a bigger collaboration, in a bigger, or maybe through you, I'm meeting somebody, you know, and I will, you know, and it's already, you know, like when you met me at Moksa, you introduced me with someone, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and I think that I see it as you know, you touch somebody, that you're gonna touch somebody else, somebody else, and then you could disappear for some reason, that not disappeared like you've gone from this world, but like for whatever reason you are not in our relationship anymore, but you pass down other relationship through our relationship, if that really makes sense.
Yeah, no, that really makes sense. And that's a beautiful way to look at it. I really love how you're connecting it back to your philosophy of how we've met in a past life and almost like making an agreement to meet again in the physical. So would you say that's connected to what you meant by the physical realm as well, where we manifest in a physical sense, but we probably already manifested in the spiritual sense? Or could you maybe expand on why you feel you know that, compared to maybe some other people who are very logical, would go, no, that doesn't make sense. We just live and die and that's it.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I don't know. You
Okay.
know, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and again, you know, this is. I grew up in Bali. I was born in Hindu, and there is a belief system that developed, that we have met before. Do
Yeah.
I sense that? Yes.
Yes.
Do I know that? No. Do I sense that? No. Do we really met before? I don't know. You know, I don't really know. But it's just good to have that thought or
Yeah.
a belief system that we
Yeah.
met before. Hey,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
here we are. Well,
Good to see you again. Yeah.
something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's really true that you said that. And I think what resonated with me was the moment I bought you lunch at your own building. That was like, for me, one of my main goals is to serve you in a way that you've never been served before. So I hope that experience wasn't too unusual for you, but I love to do crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's kind of thing, you know, doesn't have to be big, you know, doesn't
Yeah.
have to be this firework kind of a surprise, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's kind of surprise is more meaningful than you uh, buy me, you know, or creating a firework as a background, as I was.
Yeah.
That's that just like tickle me all day, like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
I'll do it again. So anytime, if that's our mission for this life, I'll buy you lunch at Moksa every day. That's good. Well, speaking of the journey, and thanks for sharing the whole part. And I'm actually now going to ask you later about your partner and why she was significant. But for now, let's maybe I'm curious about, the challenges that maybe you were facing in the past, in maybe your intimate friendships, because you mentioned that's a high value for you to accomplish. So have you ever faced any challenges in the past connected to trying to build a business? And if so, how did you overcome those? And what maybe challenges are you still facing in your intimate relationship? So this could be anything with your wife, your family, raising a family. I know we talked about kids before, your staff or whatever. So could you maybe expand on that a bit, if you're facing any challenges in your intimate relationships?
Well, relationship it's a work.
It's a business. It's a big job. Yeah.
It's a negotiation. It's a negotiation. What you're willing to let go, and then what you trying to gain from it. Some of them like, well, I guess I'm not going to ride my bike today. We're going to go to the ocean. We're going to go to the beach. So by doing that, I'm, my wife now, Hillary, she loves beach, and then I do too. But when I go to the beach, one of the conditions is I need to be active. And we all, active. We do canoeing, we do swimming and all of that. Or otherwise, I would just go to the beach and then I just looking for the shade and sleep.
Which is like me. I think it's a brown skin issue around the world. That's good.
The lighter skin seeking for the sun.
We're seeking for the shade. Dark surfaces absorb more heat. I'm still convinced of that. It's a physical phenomenon. But yeah, I relate. Go on.
And then it doesn't really matter. Either marriage, kids, business relationship, you are dealing with another entity, with another human being. As far as a business, really, it's not hard. What I'm saying, like, well, I do know how to do the accounting. We can hire accounting. I cannot do this. I can learn, or I can hire people to do that. Of course, with looking at the financial and all of that. And really the biggest challenge, it's a relationship. It's, me with my business partner. Sometimes one is feeling, pulling more the weight than others, physically, some of them mentally. We just need to talk about it all the time. Sometimes there's a success to talk about it. Sometimes we just need to kind of like pick your battle, like, well, we tried, as long as we can still work together and we're still happy, there's something that I need to let go. Like, okay, that's fine, And I think it's what I attribute to is the practice that I do, either through martial art or somatics, all the background, I work for Outward Bounds, taking the kid out to the wilderness. I used to do rafting guide. With all of this skill that I use the skill to enhance my relationship with people, either through the speaking or activities, and also the practice of letting go, which is easier said than done. Easier said than done. Like, what does letting go mean? And sometimes, like, no, that's mine. That's the thing that I cannot let go. Like, I need to stood my ground on this one.
So that was what I was going to ask you there. So which parts do you still feel you're still working on that are still a big challenge for you in the relationship department?
Ego, of course. I think sometime a recognition. I think we all as a human love to being recognized. as a human, we love to be validated.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes when that missing feeling like okay, feeling a little bit down or
Unappreciated.
something.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
So true. So how do you overcome that? Because you said you're working on letting go. So how are you, or what do you do to try and let go of that ego feeling? What's your process?
I just wait until 20 years from now, and getting old, and then you, no.
Now you're asking questions. You don't have answers. Yeah.
Well, it's many ways for people to do that, and I think the classic way people said, letting go is easier said than done. It's need to do a lot of practice. Practice meaning, really starting from letting go of your things that you have for, small one, like a clothing. You don't wear that T-shirt for years, but you don't want to let it go because there is something that you want to hold on to, that thing, the memory. And for me, really practice of letting go is start from a physical. It is, this is a physical, but there is an emotional that attached to that, which is for me is a good exercise to do. Every once in a while I go through my cupboard or wardrobe. Like, hey, I want to give this way. I want to give this way. Just giving away. And with the relationship and all of that, it's hard. Hard meaning we have a feeling, we have sensation, we have emotion, and all of that. And for me, time will heal a lot of things. Do we want to wait 20 years to let it go? No, I would love to let it go sooner than that. For me, a lot of physical practice, somatic practice, my martial art practice helped me to do that. Help to get through this energy that bottled up inside of myself. Is it easy? No. Losing something or saying goodbye to something is not easy. Even we want to end this relationship. Still there is something that we cherish about that relationship in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really powerful thing you just mentioned about that. And I think not just in business, sometimes we have good partnerships or staff. I don't know about you, but for me, even recently, had to let go of some really close people that have been working with me for a few years. And that was very difficult to accept because of some beautiful things that we did create together. So I think that's a really good metaphor, but also in personal life, it's the same thing. So starting with the physical is a really, really important thing. So just on the same point about the martial arts, you've mentioned it a few times. And I think what connected us in the initial meeting was we're both martial artists. So can you maybe explain a little bit about how you use martial arts to build your business and communities? You said that to me earlier, and that really caught my attention from like the second sentence you said to me. So could you maybe expand on that and share what that's all about?
Well, let me say this. Everybody has their own practice in their life. For me, martial art, which is the martial art Aikido. So my practice in Aikido, when you look at the word Aikido, it's I is a harmony, Ki is a life force, and Do is the practice, or the way. It's really in when I practice Aikido, is how do I harmonize myself with my partner? In this case would be my my learning partner, my practice partner. And that's a metaphor for life. How do I hold his hand? Do I hold it tight, or not enough? And then who do I practice with? If I practice with you, I would practice differently than if I practice with a woman.
Mm, mm,
I'm not going to hold the other woman the same grip that
mm.
I hold you,
Wow.
because that's the sensation right there. When it's too much, when it's not enough. Yeah. So like if I hold you like this, and then you're like, wow, where where are you?
Feels like some of my relationships in the past.
Or sometimes relationship just grip too hard, like
Yeah, yeah.
learn from here.
Yeah, true, true. Wow, that's profound.
So anything that you do in your life, either you do Aikido, martial art, or yoga, or whatever, if you can translate that to your life, so there's no separate activity. I'm doing this Aikido because I want to be more sensible. I wanted to take care of my partner. I wanted to take care of myself, because when they throw me to the ground, I need to be moved in a skillful action or skillfully that I didn't get hurt. And vice versa, when I throw my partner, I need to throw it with care, not just like, this is my
Mm,
time to pay back, because the next thing I'm going to be the one got thrown. And guess what? It's going to be another payback. So really, how you want to treat your partner, that's how you treat yourself.
wow.
Or how do you want to treat yourself, that's how you treat your partner,
Mm, mm,
so to speak, in a practice.
mm. So, what advice then would you give, say, upcoming entrepreneurs, community leaders, on how your philosophy of Aikido could help them to be mindful? I guess is where we're going with this. I sense. Um, what advice would you give an upcoming person who maybe doesn't have the experience or the knowledge, and they're just maybe chasing money, or I've had to go through 2 bankruptcies to understand money will never be enough. Like, this took me a while, to get the thing that I'm actually after, which is what you're alluding to. So what advice would you give upcoming people, or the audience, on how to use a credo to be mindful in business?
uh, the very core of Aikido is relationship. We call it blending, like a blend, like a become like collaboration, basically. You know, because I believe, really, I say this again, with the collaboration we can do much more. Really, that's what the power is. Of course, you as a business leader, I want to do it myself. I have this goal, I have that. You cannot do it yourself. You need to hire people. And then how you maximize your team is through relationship. That's how I see it. Even you have a skillful, the most brilliant people in your team, but if they're not motivated, if they don't feel like you know lined up behind your vision, they're not going to do their best.
Mm,
Even if you have a mediocre uh, team, but they are really committed. They're going to do everything for you.
mm,
Not
mm.
for me, but for themselves, because it's meaningful.
Yeah, so true. So true. I think it's missing a lot in conversations around business. And what do you feel? Maybe some of you mentioned this philosophy and the belief of the blend, but what do you think are belief systems or things you strongly believed in the past that you no longer believe in anymore? That's changed. So some things have been consistent, I sense. But what beliefs might you have had in the past that now you've changed, looking back, going, I don't believe that anymore? Would there be anything like that?
I don't know if I have specific one, like I used to believe this and then now I believe this. And I think for me, a lot of this thing is I see it as an evolution.
Mm,
I believe certain thing in the past that what make me who I am right now. and then that belief system or that practice, what I say, is no longer useful for me, then I need to take a different practice. And some of those practice, I don't even remember what was that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Okay.
Yeah, in a martial art, there is just one second. I'm just looking at the quote right here. They said, I'm speaking about practice here. So it's take 100 times to remember a move. If you repeat something 100 times, you just remembering the move. Like I'm doing right now with my hand right now. If I do this 100 times, I remember the move. Yeah, and then take 1,000 times to make them beautiful.
Wow.
At first I probably do this with my hand, and then it's become smooth. It's look beautiful, yeah. And then take 10,000 times to grasp their essence. So, yeah, practice. Is what they said. 100 repetition just to remember it. 1,000 times to get it in your muscle memory, and then 10,000 times to embody it.
Wow, that's so profound. I really love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We're gonna put that in the comments. That's definitely a sticker. I really love that. So you also have this is a personal question, but I'm curious now more. You have children. So how do you translate this wisdom to your kids on a day-to-day basis as a father?
As the father. Well, how do I translate this to my kid? It's just by showing the example. The discipline is discipline. Discipline doesn't mean rigid. So why we're doing certain thing? Give them a reason. We're not doing this because we love you, but we don't like but we don't like your behavior. That's not that I don't love you, but the way what you do that we don't like. So it's really emphasizing that that I love my kids, but the behavior that I don't like, or not that I don't like, that not if you want to go further in life, sit down, eat in a manners, because that will move you forward in life. And people said, well, I have twins because kid is a teacher, so I guess there's so much thing that I need to learn. So they
give you two at the same time. I love that. And what would you say you like the most about being a father to these two, and how are you different to each, or are you exactly the same to both? Just curious.
This is how I can sum up to have children. People said, oh, I love you unconditionally with your partner, with your lovers, with your mother, with your whatever you like. I love you unconditionally. I love you unconditionally. For me, this is personally speaking. Until you have a kid, I'm speaking. This is for myself. I never ever feel the unconditional love like how I love my kids. That just it's need to be experienced, can't be explained. So and I remember when they were born, wow, this is what unconditional love felt like.
Wow.
Because of course we say like, oh, I love you unconditionally, I love you, but me personally, when they were born, like, oh my God, thank you for showing this the feeling, the experience that I can experience other than if I don't have through my kids. So I think that's to summarize.
Wow.
The feeling.
So here's a curious question. I hope no one has ever asked you this, but I'm going to. Is so how do you actually feel that love somatically? where maybe do you feel that somatically when you're expressing this unconditional love that you experienced of the day? Where can you recall where you felt that in a somatic way?
Yeah, really the easiest way or to feel that is through sensation, like a movement in your body. Either like wow, like like this, like tingly. I remember that feeling tingly throughout my body.
Wow.
And then the second one is the temperature. Either hot or cold. So that's two things that you can really always use to as a gauge, so to speak. Temperature check, and then a movement check.
Wow.
Because
That's
you
insightful.
are, because when you are excited, there is you hot.
Yeah.
Nobody get excited cold.
That's true. I'm so excited. Yeah, it doesn't happen. That's a good point.
Because when you're excited, your blood, your pump, and blood is hot and make you sweat. The temperature got to rise.
Wow.
Breathing is changing. Your changing. So when I teach or work or do Aikido, how do I feel? What do I look for to feel? Well, temperature and the energy movement.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
that's
then
really helpful.
and then translate to feeling. Because feeling is word that you put what is the bodily phenomena, and then that's come out as and then we put label to that.
No, thanks for sharing that. That's really actually very instrumental for me, at least, as well, to add that dimension to it, because I never really thought about that. So that's really two things I can take away from this conversation. So just a couple of final questions, because I'm curious about sharing more about what you're working on now. But what could you talk a little bit more about this plastic project, what you're trying to do there, and maybe how we could connect with that and share it more on the platform? And how you came about doing it. It was a really beautiful story you shared with me.
Yeah, so I always like this phrase, inside of the crisis, there's an opportunity. So I really like that phrase because it's allowed me to create to think about solution instead of a victim. Yeah. So there's crisis. What is the solution? So back in the beginning of the May 2020, in the middle of this COVID crisis, I was thinking like, what is the crisis that we are facing right now? One is the COVID. Second, because of the COVID, people lost their job and then they cannot buy, in this case in Bali, it's rice, which is the most basic needs that they have every day. And then the third one I was also come to mind is plastic. It's many crises in the world. One of them is plastic. And then the fourth one is every time there is a disaster or natural disaster, there's people that come with a relief disaster. And not the wrong of people giving, not the fault of people receiving, but I think we're not aware of that we creating this conditioning between the giving and the receiving. The people that giving come as a hero, and then the receiver waiting over there, paralyzed in some ways, like waiting for the handout.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, and I was thinking, how do I cover all of this? And I was just like, how about if I just ask them to bring a plastic and I will give them rice? So that was the idea, bring plastic, I will give you rice. And then I start this in my village, and after the second day I started, I realized this is something that I can scale up, not just in my village, but I can bring this to the whole Bali. It would be great, if we can do this. And I created mission statements, how we're going to do this and all of that. And up to date, we have about 15 villages
Wow.
in Tabanan and in Ubud doing it. And then we are collecting approximately close to 20 tons of plastic. That's 2,000 kilograms of plastic.
Wow.
That it should be, should be all go to the river and then end up in the ocean. So 20 ton, think about it.
That's amazing.
So this is what I want to really say to the people that listening to this podcast. So this is what happened. Like I always said this to people, oh, how much should I give, or before I even give, how do I help with your initiative? I said, share it through your network, make a buzz, because the more people know about it, the more relationship that we have with people, that will create this movement. Secondly, if you can donate. And this is how your money is going to go. If you give me $1, Australian dollars, or 75 cents, American dollars, that buy 1 kilo of rice, that's going to feed one family of 4, husband, wife, and 2 kids for 1 day. And then you collected up to 4 kilo of plastic. $1, one family of 4 kilo of plastic. So that's how, your little, people said, oh, $1 is not much, but no, it's a lot. Actually.
It's a lot. Has a 360 impact. I'm using my brand there, but that's really powerful because you connected the food and the plastic and the feeding and the people. So you mentioned it's scalable. So how do you actually quantify that? We touched on it a bit. So how would you say if people are listening, like, oh, you said it's scalable now. So give us some experiences of what's happened to make it scale that's helped you.
Yeah. So what happened right now is all this village leader that already done this initiative, they become a champion to influence the next village leader. And then that next village leader going to be influence the next village leader. And then for me, my job now is really how do I create a team that work in the background to, number one is talk with all the donors, because we need some kind of financial capital to buy the rice to give to the villagers. And, I'm not like sponsoring the full amount. I give some, and then they also will find a money or rice in their village. So I'm giving a kind of like a push with this first seed money. And then really, moving forward, this is going to become a movement where people can deposit their plastic and then get credit. And then that credit can exchange in, say like we have worked with all this mart, like Indomart, Kmart, Silker Mart, and then they can go there to get rice, oil, and sugar, for instance.
That's great.
So that's the bigger view right there. And then also in a shorter view, we're going to do $1, 1 month, 1 island cleanup. So in a 1 month, you're going to do like one village after another, and people can just donate $1 every day, $1 a month, whatever it is, So I'm still playing with this number 1, like 1, 1, 1, 1 village, 1 month, $1, 1 island, so
one world. Love it. No, that's great. So how do we get people to connect with you? What are the best platforms? Instagram, Facebook? You have a website. I know you can send me some stuff on WhatsApp on what I'll share in the comments below, so people can click on and go straight there. But what's the best way to get in touch with you, to support you, and find out more about you?
Yeah. the best way is go to a Facebook group. That's the one that's really active right now. And then just to give a timeline here, this is only 2.5 months of initiative. So
Wow.
it's only 2.5 months old. So
Mm.
we are have a Facebook group. Please join that so you can get informed from there. And then we also have a GoFundMe platform to raise money for now. Moving forward, I am in the process of creating a non-profit organization for this, creating the board and all of that. That's in the making.
Yeah, sure.
But for now, Facebook and GoFundMe. So I will send you the link, and the viewer can click on that link. And
Yeah.
please
Great.
share it.
No, we're definitely going to do that, and I'll pass that on to some of my other networks as well. And as you know, I'm also quite excited about, I think it was next week, we're going to arrange for me to pay a visit with you to one of the local regencies to help out. So is this something that maybe some of the local people in our network can also get in touch with you guys to book another time to come out and help?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow we have, this weekend we have 3 initiatives that adopted by villagers here in Ubud.
I think that's the one we're doing Sunday, yeah? I think I was coming to this Sunday or next Sunday, Country Call. We were talking about
this Sunday.
Okay. So yeah, I'll definitely put some photos up on that, and looking forward to prioritizing some time with that. So just a few last questions there. First one I was going to ask you before I ask the last question is, is there maybe anything you wish people asked you that they never asked that you wish they knew about when it comes to you as a person? Like, what do you wish people asked you that, like, why don't they ask me this question? Is there anything like that comes to mind?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So maybe I will ask you a question then, is if you are now looking back to the younger self of yourself, what would be the best advice you'd give that person to maybe have a more smoother run to get you to where you are today? What advice would you give your younger self?
Well, if you did not do something crazy when you're young, there is no story to tell when you get old. So
that's true.
Create a lot of story. Create a lot of experience in your life, whatever it is. I cannot suggest you, oh, this is right, this is wrong. Sometimes you do need to do something that almost kill you. But please make sure that you're alive so you can tell the story when you
That's right. I love that. That's really good. Go on.
There is no don't do this, do that. It's choose your friend wisely, because you are who you hang out with. Yes, and again, you have your culture, you have your religions, you have your norm that you live with. That's norm, religion, and advice, wisdom from your elder. It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. You either agree or not agree. That's another point of view from yourself. But there, the religion, the wisdom, the norm, the culture, and all of that is there for years or 1,000 or 100 years exist. Just use that as a guidance, and then don't forget to do something crazy,
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I love that. Do something crazy so you can talk about it. As long as you don't kill yourself. I think that was the exclusion clause, yeah?
that's that.
Love it. Okay, so one more thing before I ask the final question. I just wanted Madé to acknowledge you and to also say I really appreciate your faith and trust in the fact that we were born in a previous life, or we had a life before this, to be aware that this friendship may curiously explore. And for that reason, as you said, I love that you cherish friendship, because that is something that for me is a doorway to so many opportunities, stories, ideas, and other ways of meeting other people. So as my father said, if it's for a reason, season, or a lifetime, for whatever reason you came through this life to connect with us and create the community that I've seen and experienced through your Moksa brand, it's been really heartfelt to go like, wow, this is a sense of entrepreneurship I've been trying to express. And I saw myself in that moment really feel validated by meeting someone like you who's doing a lot of impact for the community. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for your friendship and your courage and your discipline also. That really comes through your somatics. I can feel that. So thank you very much for everything that you've done so far.
So before I end, I want to share one of this quote that I really like for, one of the things that my teacher, teach me is like, we are all a warrior. And looking at that warrior is really, let me say this, like a samurai, or I'm using this just because that's what I learn, or I become so embedded in that. And as a samurai, as a warrior, that we need to be able to have all of this spectrum of feeling. We learn how to kill people. We learn how to put people in a chokehold and all of that. But it's also really important to learn ikebana, do the calligraphy, because that will cultivating different side of you, like the masculine, the feminine, the softness, I need to be stern, this is, I need to make a decision. But there is some time we need to talk to a children, and how we train ourselves in all of those things. Oh, because I'm man, I'm not gonna read a poem. Poem is for woman, I love Rumi. I love
Yeah, me too.
yeah. So
Wow.
because what people said, a headline in a newspaper only live one day, but poem and quote is live forever. It's just timeless.
True.
So in that note, I want to share one of this quote. It says,
Yes,
this is
please.
from Eric Fromm, which is, he wrote a book, it's called The Art of Loving. So he said, nothing, especially love, can be mastered without practice. And practice involves discipline, concentration, and supreme concern. So nothing, especially love, can be mastered without practice. Yeah? And practice involves discipline, concentration, and supreme concern.
Wow, that's beautiful. Really love the last part as well.
Practice.
Supreme concern. Wow, that's beautiful. We'll probably share that too as well as a link. So I really appreciate that. And I'm a book person, so I'm going to get this art of loving, yeah? So as well. So that's really good. Well, last final question to close. So what's your definition of entrepreneurial success?
For me, it's of course not in this order. Yeah, like feeling good. What is that feeling good? Like a feeling accomplished. Accomplishment of something, and then earning, of course. I think for me that too. Accomplishment at the first. Because that's the one that really you cannot buy.
Yeah, true.
A feeling of accomplishment, a feeling of this is something worth doing, and then on top of that, you got rewarded by financial profit. So that's even better.
Beautiful. No, thank you so much for sharing that. Really have it. Actually, I just gotta put one more question in there because after you said that, triggered another question for me. Is
It's okay.
let's imagine this everything you've accomplished, everything you've been rewarded with. It's you pass on to the next life. You've probably completed everything. You've reached that alignment, nirvana. When we meet in that realm, and everything else that you've accomplished in the physical world just disappears. But what are the 3 lessons that you love people to remember you by?
Well, number one, he was crazy.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was crazy. Have an idea that whatever it is, crazy.
Mm.
The I don't know. The second one would be, you know, I wish that I was like him or something like that. Not like me, but like has that crazy mind. Probably that. Yeah, I think I just love the word crazy, meaning like you're not bound by convention.
Yeah.
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 So,
I
yeah.
love that. No, we're going to get along. Well, thank you so much for that. And guys, check the links out on the plastic projects. I'll definitely see him on Sunday, take more photos about that story. And Karth, thank you so much for your friendship. Thank you for being crazy enough to become the person that you are. And I think the world has a great case study to have as an example. So look forward to interviewing you again further down the track as these things scale. But just wanted to say thanks again for your time. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you too for doing this. We'll
Thank you.
see you in person in 2 days from now.
Yes, thank you very much.